we are doing, basic trigonometric function. So we continue from where we ended yesterday. So we've done the cosine law and sine law. So let's make sure we know and understand that part very well. So this is basic trigonometric functions, or I can say equations. So here where I've put functions, you can just say equations. So I can say equations. These are equations. We are dealing with equations. I'm going to teach you about equations. So basic trigonometric equations is what we are doing. So for you to understand the basic trigonometric equations, what you need to understand, the first thing that you need to understand are quadrants. So I'm going to put a circle like this, which we are going to know it. So I'm going to put a circle like this. So you know that here we've got a 0 degrees. You know that angles move in anti-clockwise direction. So angles will be moving like this. So this is 0 degrees. If I start moving like this, have you seen I start moving here like this? I reach here. So here where I've reached, this is where 90 degrees is. So here, this is where 90 degrees is. If I start moving like this, I start moving, I reach here. This is where 180 is. You know that this is a straight line. A straight line adds up to 180. I continue moving, I move. I reach here where there is 270. This is where 270 is. If I continue moving until I reach a complete turn, so here I've got 360, which is a complete turn. So this is what we need to know. This is what we need to know and understand. So a complete turn is what? 360. So if our complete turn is 360, so here you know that in here we've got, this is where the first quadrant is. This is the first quadrant. This is the second quadrant. This is the third quadrant. This is the what? Fourth quadrant. This is what we need to know. So this is the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant. Which means that the first quadrant, in the first quadrant we've got the angle. So the word for angle. So we've got this word angle. So angle, I'll be using the word theta. So don't be confused. I'll be using the word theta like this. Have you seen? I'll be using the word theta. So here now, what you need to know is that in here, this is the first quadrant. So in the first quadrant, theta is between 0 degrees and 90 degrees. Have you seen? Then in the what? When we go in the second quadrant, theta is between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. And when I move to the third quadrant, theta is between 180 and 270. The fourth quadrant, theta is between 270 and 360. This is what we need to know and understand. So I'm going to put this in here. We've got this word which I've written A. Here I'm going to put S. So I'm going to explain all this. Here I'll put T. Have you seen? Then here I'm going to put what? C. So I want you to understand this very well. So A here means O. We've got what? You know that we've got these three things. So you grade 12s, if you are under grade 12s, we are only limited to this. So we only talk about the sine, we talk about the cosine, and the what? The tangent. These are the only things that we normally talk about. Unless if you're doing advanced mathematics, that's when we talk about cotangent, we talk about secant, so, and those that are doing adding. But since we are just doing ordinary mathematics, these are what? These are enough for us. These are enough for us. So we are just going to major on this. So this is sine. So when I say O, which means that in the first quadrant, this is the first quadrant. In the first quadrant, sine law, we've got the sine, cosine, and tangent are positive. So in the first quadrant, any angle between 0 degrees and 90 degrees is what? Positive. But between, when I go in the second quadrant, have you seen, when I move to the second quadrant, I mean between 90 degrees and 180, there is S here, which is sine. Have you seen? Sine. This is what? Sine. So only sine is positive. but the cosine and the tangent are negative in here. Only what? Only the sine is positive, but the tangent and the cosine is negative. I move to the third quadrant. Third quadrant, there is t. T here is what? Tangent. So only tangent is what? Positive. All these other are negative. Which others? So I've said only tangent is what? Positive. Only tangent is positive. So these two are what? Are negative here. Between 180 and 270. I move to C. C, this is C. C is what? Cosine. So in the fourth quadrant, only cosine. Only what? Cosine. Cosine is what? Positive. Only cosine is positive, meaning these two are what? Are negative. Have you seen? So this is what you need to understand. So this principle, you need to understand it. So I'm going to repeat what I've just explained. So I said that here, the best way to memorize this, you can just say, all students take coffee. Have you seen? So you've got all students take coffee. You know that all start with A. Students start with S. Take start with T. Coffee start with C. This is what you need to know and understand. So we've got all students take coffee. All students take coffee. Here we've got what? We've got O. So meaning all these are positive in here. In the first quadrant. You know where the first quadrant is. Between 0 and 90. In the second quadrant, we've got what? We've got between 90 and 180. Only sign, which is S, is also only this one is positive. These two are what? These two are negative. We go to the what? Third quadrant. In the third quadrant, only tan is what? Is positive. Meaning these two are negative. We go to the fourth quadrant. Only cosine is positive. These two, only what? Cosine is positive. These two are negative. The sine and the tangent. Tangent is tan. So this is what you need to know. So let me give you some examples that you're going to find in your exams. So let us look at examples. So I want you to understand this very well. We understand this very well. So solve. I've got A, which is sine theta is equal to 0.57. I've got B. B is what? B is sine theta is equal to negative 0.38. I've got C. My C is what? My C is cos theta is equal to negative 0.3814. I go to D. My D is what? Tan theta, which is equal to 1.25. So these are the equations that I'm taught to find. 4. So this is summarizing for everything. For what? 4. So this is what you need to understand. For 0 degrees less or equal to theta less or equal to 360. Have you seen? This is a complete tan. Meaning that in an exam, you will always be given this. This is the boundary. They're telling you where things are ending. This is what you need to know. So I get the first equation that I'm given. So I'm going to say solutions. So I get the first equation. So hear me properly. So the first equation is A. Is sine theta is equal to 0.57 like this. So you ask yourself, okay, I'm given this. So this is what? This is sine. And sine theta is what? Positive. So you check, where is sine positive? So sine is only positive in the first quadrant and what? Second quadrant. This is where sine is positive. In the first quadrant and the second quadrant. So you know what? Okay, so my solutions are lying in the what? First quadrant and the second quadrant. So you solve for this one. You know, okay, let me do this. I say, so for you to solve this, what you are going to do is that what you've been doing like this sine will go to this other side. So this one will be equal to what? This one will be equal to, so you say this one will be what? This one will be what? When it goes this side, it's gonna be sine inverse. Have you seen sine what? Sine inverse. So sine inverse of what? Sine inverse of 0.57. Where you're going to say that sine theta is equal to, so sine inverse of that, so sine inverse of 0.57, what is the answer? The answer is what? The answer is 34.7. Have you seen 34.75 degrees? And the other thing that you need to know and understand is this. So this is the major thing that you need to know. In the first quadrant, theta is equal to what? Is equal to theta. In the what? First quadrant. So once you find the angle, that angle is equal to the same angle. So that's your answer. But when you go in the what? When you move to the second quadrant, when you want to find the angle there, you say 180 minus the what? The theta which is given. Have you seen? Minus the theta which is what? Which is given. So this is what we are going to do. So be using this. Then we go to the what? The third quadrant here. In the third quadrant, it is theta minus 180. Have you seen? This is what we need to be doing. Then when we move to the fourth quadrant, in the fourth quadrant, what you need to do is 360 minus theta. These are principles that we need to know and understand. So have you seen? So I've found this answer, my first answer. My first answer is what? Is this one. Then I know that this is lying in the what? This is in the first quadrant, and so it is in the first quadrant and what? Second what? Second quadrant. So in the first quadrant, I check. In the first quadrant is what? First quadrant, angle is equal to angle. Theta is equal to theta. This is what you need to know and understand. Have you seen? This is what you need to know and understand. So these are principles that you need to know and understand. So I don't want to bring in reference angles because I'm going to confuse you at your level. So I just want you to get this principle. This will help you very much. So we proceed now. Since so it means this is my answer. I know that. So this is my first answer. But in the second quadrant, I said that in the second quadrant, what did I say? In the second quadrant, you go and check. In the second quadrant, you get this. Have you seen? You get what? You get this. This is what you're going to get. So you just say 180 minus what? Minus the theta. Theta is an angle. This is what we are going to do. So this is what we need to do, because here it is what? It is positive. It is what? It is positive. This is what we need to do. So I'm going to do this. So I'm going to say it is what? I know that I want to find the what? I want to find the theta. I want to find the theta. It is the theta that I want to do what? That I want to find. So this is what I'm going to do. So I know that here the answer, this is the answer, which is what? The answer is given. I know that I need to do that 180 minus what? Minus the theta. Minus the theta. Have you seen minus the what? Minus the theta here. Minus the theta, which is equal to what? The answer. What is the answer? This same answer. 34.75. Like this. So this is what we need to do. So let me try to change the pen. So it is what? Like this. Then you want to find this one here. How can you find this one? You know that this one will go to this other side. So when it crosses this other side, it's going to be what? Positive. So it will be equal to theta will be positive. Here I've got 180 like this. So this is what? This is positive. When it comes this side, it's minus. So minus what? Minus 34.75 like this, which is equal to, now we say theta is equal to, then you try to subtract here. So 180 minus 34.75. What is the answer? The answer is 145.25 degrees. Have you seen? So these are your answers. This is what you need to do. Have you seen the way I found this? This is what you need to do. So when you're answering like this, you know what you are doing. you know what you are doing, you know what you are doing. So these are simple equations that I want us to try out. So these are equations that we need to know how to solve them. So we need to know how to solve them. So they are all ending at what? Here. This is very important. 3 skis, which is, it is a complete turn. Have you seen? Like this. So these are the what? The answers. I move to the next one, which is what? Which is B. So I move to B. B is what? Sine theta is equal to negative 0.38. Have you seen this one? Very wonderful. So we are able to answer this question. So how do we answer this question? You check. Okay. Sine is what? Negative. Okay. Sine is negative. You go to the what? You go to your quadrants. Have you seen sine is what? Sine is negative. The sign here is negative. So the sign is what? Negative. Sine is negative. So what do you do? So you check. Okay. Sine is negative. Where is sine negative? So sine here. Have you seen sine is here? So sine positive. So this is what we need to know and understand. So sine in here is what? So sine here is positive. Even there is positive. But here it is negative. Even there is negative. I explained this. I told you that in the third quadrant, only tan is what? Is positive. So meaning sine and cosine are both negative. Here only cos is positive. Sine and tan are what? Are negative. So when I say tan and tangent, it's just one and the same. When you say tan, you are just it's just a shortcut of saying tangent. The same applies to cos. When you say cos, this is the shortcut. The original word is cosine. You say cosine. Sine, the original is sine like this. So we say sine, cos, so that we understand properly. So I want to find this one. Have you seen? I want to find this one here. Sine theta here. Sine is what? Negative. Since sine is negative, so it is lying where? It is lying in the third quadrant and fourth quadrant. These are what I'm going to use. Theta minus 180. 3 sixty minus what? 3 sixty. 3 sixty minus theta. This is what I'm going to do. So since I know that, okay, this negative or positive, it will help me in the quadrant where it is lying. So since I know that this is in the what? Third quadrant and fourth what? Fourth quadrant. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. So I need to find the what? I need to find the theta. So I'm going to forget about this negative because the negative was just telling me where it is lying. So I'm going to say shift on my calculator. This is what we've been doing. So I believe we are able to do this. So I'm going to say shift then sign on my calculator. This is what I'm going to. This is what I'm going to do. So I say shift, then I go to sign like this. Then I press. I forget about this negative. So the answer, what will be the answer? The answer will be what? I say 0.38. The answer is what? 22. So this is my answer. This is the answer, which is what? 22.3. Have you seen 22 point what? 22.3. It is my answer. Like this, 22.3. So since I know that, okay, I've found this. So my answers are lying in the what? Third quadrant and fourth quadrant. So how do I work out this? I know that for the third quadrant, how do I do? It's theta minus 180, which is equal to this answer. So the answer is what? 22.33. I'm going to solve this. And in the fourth quadrant, I know that it is 3 sixty minus theta, which is equal to what? 22.33. This is what I'm going to do. Have you seen? So once you know where it is lying, you know the quadrant where it is lying, then everything will be what? Easy. So this is what we need to know and understand. So here then, you know that you want to find this one. This one will go to the other side of the equation. So theta will be equal to, you are going to add this, 22.33 plus, when this one comes this side, it is plus. So it could be 22.33 plus 180. We know what, when it crosses equal sign, the sign will change. So when you add these two, what is your answer? Your answer is 202.33 degrees. This is your answer. Have you seen? So this is how you find this one. This is your answer. We go to this one. So this one, you know that the negative is attached to theta. So this one will go to this other side. So I'm going to have 36 will remain. This is positive. When it comes inside, it's minus 22.33, which is equal to, this one is negative. When it goes inside, it is positive, like this. So you subtract here. Have you seen the way I'm going to subtract? This is what I'm going to subtract. 360 minus 22.33. What is the answer? The answer is what? The answer is 337.67, like this. Have you seen this answer? So this is my answer. 0.6 what? Okay, I've written 0.67, which is equal to. So it is equal to what? You check. This is equal to what? It's equal to theta, like this. It is equal to theta. So like this now, you know, okay, this is equal to theta, which means theta is equal to what? This is what you need to know and understand. So which means that theta is equal to this same answer that is here, 337.67 degrees. So these are your answers. So theta is this one or this other one. This is how we find these answers. This is how we get to answer our questions. So the thing that will make you understand this is this one. Once you know this one and you know where in the quadrant it is falling, these are very important. So I want you to answer these two questions here. These last two questions. I want you to try these two. I want you to try this one. We try out this one. We also try out this other one. So I want us to try these two. Solve these two equations. So I want you to solve these two equations for theta, like this, 0 degrees to what? 360. These are your questions that I want you to try out. So let us try these two questions. Let's see how we can answer them. So I'll be waiting for your answers. Thank you so much. So let's try to answer these questions on time. So these videos, like I've been telling you, these are private videos. So let's make sure we don't share with anyone. Let's make sure we don't share the link with any person that we may try to think of. Maybe we are thinking that we are helping that person. As long as that person is not under my teaching and has not paid for these videos, we don't share the link. Thank you so much. I'm waiting for these answers. Let's try out these two.